What about your life far away from the MotoGP? How is it?
The last 4.5, 5 years I had many issues with chronic fatigue, so I've been struggling the last 3-4 years. Not really able to do much during the day, but the last 3-4 months things are slowly coming better, so we start to do a little bit more. I still have my cattle farms in Australia. We have some other things, and then of course my family, so this takes up most of our time, and this is most of my energy is on this.
And what about your return?
No return at this point, so it's just starting to feel a little bit better. We start to get the ball rolling with some things, but we're not getting ahead of ourselves.
Have you followed the Ducati season until now? What do you think about Bagnaia? He has a chance to win the World Championship. What do you think?
I think Pecco for the last 2 years has had a really good chance to win, but unfortunately this year we've seen too many mistakes, and unfortunately that's made a huge issue. It's good to go out there and fight for the victories, but you need to know when to consolidate and just take the position you can get. Hopefully he's learned a lot from this at the beginning of the season. He's obviously still got the speed, but we just need to minimise some mistakes, and then of course he can fight for the championship. It's never finished until the end of the season, especially in the current format. Let's say it's seemingly difficult to be consistent.
What about your fellow Australian Jake Miller?
No, Jack, I think, had a little tricky start to the year also. I believe Ducati in general maybe went in the wrong direction. They weren't, happy with the bike the way they went. The bike from last year was doing very well and winning races. So Jack for sure struggled a little bit, and it's disappointing that Ducati let him go. But this is, I suppose, the way of Ducatisti at the moment is they love the machine more than the rider, and this is more important, I guess, for Ducati.
Yeah.
What about the first season without Valentino Rossi?
I would love to say it's a big difference, but for Valentino, he wasn't fighting at the front in the last years, so it was difficult for me to watch him, labouring a little bit further back. So for me, I'm happy for him. I think now he can follow some other things and enjoy his life a little bit more and his new child. But yeah, for me personally, the last 2 years I didn't watch so many races with Valle in the front, so it hasn't changed, I think, the dynamic at the moment. But I haven't been to the racetrack without Valentino there, so I'm not sure of the atmosphere.
The last, for me at least, what about Marc Marquez? Do you expect to see him back like he was, like the champion he was?
This is difficult to say, because when he was at his best, he was still young, he didn't have any injuries, he was full of confidence. It's a lot easier to ride when you have these things. Now that he's a little older, he understands what injury is, he understands that every time he crashes could be the last crash. It's much more difficult mentally to recover from this. Without a doubt he has the talent, and I think he needs to maybe learn how to ride in a slightly different way now, that just to use his experience to ride in a different way. But I think, if the injury returns, okay, but he also has the problem with the eye as well. So it's very difficult to say from my perspective. It's more or less impossible. I don't know what's happening, but I can only hope that Marc returns to the front.
And last, what about this season? Who is going to win, in your opinion?
It's a good question.
Last one.
I cannot say. It's, like I said, Fabio is a defending championship, currently leading the championship, but has shown inconsistencies as well. Pecco's shown inconsistencies. The only one consistent at the moment is Aleix Espargaro. Bastianini has been incredibly good as well at times, but then if he's not winning, generally he's really struggling. So it's a very, like I said, it's an inconsistent championship. So you at the halfway point you can't see who's going to win.